defense. I won't buy everything. So needs to choose your affection carefully. Amnesia is easier than living in a land of ignorance. But you're making your patient, so cut out your tongue and take all your money. It's just an excuse to say we're making progress at the detriment of those who can't afford the privilege. My skin is a bullet if what they claim is true at all. Yeah, I want to be different, so give me some more. We live in the world of absolutes. Feel my pulses, take my temperature, dictate my feelings. Give me a reason why I want to hate you. Nothing compares to your adolescence. It's obvious to all. Are you offended now in seeing red again? But oh, I can think of it. The boy who cried wolf in the end. And all we need is a reason to make our purpose clear. We're here for our recognition of everything you did and more. We made it this far, but not everyone is as headstrong. I cut out my tongue and save all the world.
Hello, everyone. Excuse me. Welcome to another exciting episode of Beyond the Edge of Exile. And today we went a little farther beyond the Edge of Exile because not only do you see my good friend Jeffrey joining me on my far left, your far right, but in the middle, there seems to be a rules expert who has magically appeared. Yeah, in the middle, Jeff. That's right. Like, I'm here, you're there, and he's in the middle. That's right. What do you say? Let's let our guest introduce themselves today, please. Introduce yourself to the world and let them bask in your glory.
Hi there. My name is Jan Padley, and like Shahan ahead of me, I am part of the Rules Committee for Genesis.
Did you see that smirk that was on his face when I said let them bask in your glory? He did not appreciate that. I'm trying to praise you up, my friend. We're excited to have you here this week. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be good, and I am looking forward to seeing what's going to be revealed.
Yeah, that's true. You haven't gotten to see the spoilers for tonight. It's going to be fun. We are doing a unique spoiler tonight. Not only are we revealing a card, which is a champion card, But because it's a champion card, I didn't want to reveal the character without being able to reveal a bit of the story behind the character as well. So the reveal tonight is a little bit different type of spoiler than I've done before, a little bit more story involved in it, almost like a whole chapter of lore crammed into a spoiler for a card. So it's going to be fun. We're going to see all this cool stuff going on. We're going to also be, obviously, since we have our special guest here tonight, we're going to get to talk about some rules, clarify a few things, and then we'll also listen to whatever puns Jeff wants to share with the crowd, as we do every week. So Jeffrey,
Yep.
where do you want to start tonight? What do you want to do first?
I think first we should remind people that they should comment in the chat if they're able to, because we will add them to the Magic Wheel, which gives away a pack of Genesis Invasion,
Yes.
the latest set. And I think we should also let people know that we're here for, on average, about an hour. So don't wait till the last minute. If you have questions about rules, I mean, obviously not something very specific, but just general rules questions, how things work, or some questions you might have maybe from last week's spoiler or something like that. Part of the reason Jan is here is to be able to answer some of those questions. So if you have anything, drop it in the chat, because now is the time to get our rules brains working and get some answers.
Yeah, there's a couple fun rules things that we could talk about. Since Jan's here tonight, I figured we'd probably have him go over again the changes with how flying works nowadays, just to make sure in case anybody missed it the last time we talked about it. The new flying rules are in effect, so it's good to touch on that again. Then there have been a couple questions that were asked up at my local game store that I maybe prepped you on about ahead of time that I was going to have him take care of explaining, because he's got the brilliant rules mind versus me. I'm just the guy who calls stores up and asks them if they want to play a really cool game.
Mhm.
So we'll defer to him on that as well, which will be fun. What do you want to start with tonight? Do you want to jump into some rules discussion right away, or like, did you have something else in mind? Where do we go from here?
You're talking
Anyone?
to me, sorry, or you're asking
Anyone?
Jan?
Anyone? I guess I should say. I guess I should say name. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah,
not used to
yeah.
having more than one person here. Yeah. For Jeffrey, I was asking, where do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think, you know what? Why don't we touch on the flight idea? Just a quick summary, if you're up to it, Jan, of how flight now is different than it was before. Just so that people that are coming into the game, people that have been here before, understand the changes. People that are new to the game will just know these as the rules from the get-go. So that's not going to be a hard change for them, but it's just so that other people are aware of how it's going to be, how the changes will affect their gameplay.
So flight as it used to work is that it allowed you to move onto any space that was occupied regardless of who was there. And it also meant that if a summoner or a combatant had flight, then it would block any other movement onto the space that it was on. So it kind of got the best of both worlds, where it could be as maneuverable as it wanted to be, but could also block off any sort of paths to it. So it made flight very advantageous. What has been obviously decided and changed now is that creatures with flight can no longer move onto any spots with creatures with flight. Well, sorry, with combatants with flight on there. So kind of flight now stops flight from moving onto the same spot. And equally, any creature that doesn't have flight can move onto a space with a creature that does have flight. So kind of bringing flight back into kind of like flying creatures and combatants back into the same sort of line as any other summon or any other combatant.
Really working with two levels then, as if it was on a two-dimensional or three-dimensional plane. It is a two-dimensional plane on a three-dimensional plane,
yeah.
Right? Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's really good. I think that's a change that everyone's really, really happy for, which I guess just as a quick refresher for people that might not be familiar with the fact that had happened or how it was changed, because there's a nice article written up by Shahan on the website about that. But this is a nice little summary of it. It's pretty straightforward, actually. I think so. It shouldn't be that hard of a concept.
Speaking of the website. Sorry.
Okay, on. I was just to agree with that. Yeah, I just think it's more thematic, and it in itself kind of makes more sense, like with how it works and how people would know like a flying creature. So.
And you're
There's going to be a lot of fun silences tonight, isn't there, Jeff? A lot of
well, it's hard, right, with three people. Yeah, it is.
Three remote people. There's nobody in front of the camera telling us whose turn it is to talk. We're all in separate buildings. Speaking of the website, real quick, I just want to mention too, if people haven't checked out the Genesis website lately, genesisboc.com, you should take another look because we're always updating it, refreshing it, making things look prettier, shinier, better, adding more information on the game, how to play it, where to play it, things like that. So definitely visit that. There's new chapters of lore going up all the time. Jeff, were you able to start adding the first spoiler from last week to the
Indeed.
website? Oh, perfect.
Yep,
So that's
up
already there as well.
Yep,
So,
and the spoiler today will be up by the end of the today. I'm not going to put up before the video. We got to watch that video
fair.
first, then I'll put it up.
Yeah. That's right. So that's great. We're doing our best to keep everything up to date as a great one-stop spot for all your Genesis questions and info, whether you're an experienced player or someone brand new who's just heard about the game for the first time.
That store locator is great to point back to that. I know we probably haven't mentioned it in a little while. Any store that does carry Genesis gets in touch with us at hello@edgeofexile.com, and we add them to the store locator. So it's a great way to find a local store for you to play at, or a local store for you to buy the product at, or if you don't have a local store, a slightly further away store to ship you the product that's close enough that they can get it to you in a reasonable time.
Absolutely. There's more and more places to buy Genesis from all the time, which is exciting.
Speaking of which, Jason, did we get the reorder in from Universal? That came in last week, did it, or am I mistaken?
The Universal reorder has been received and shipped, and I believe it's already listed, available in stock at Universal again now. So stores can absolutely buy more booster boxes of whatever sets they want, and our new playmats as well are in stock at Universal in Canada. I do have a little bit of a disappointing news to share, is that I was told on Thursday in a phone conversation with my rep at Southern Hobby in the States that they were going to be placing an order either Thursday or Friday. And I guess they got busy with other stuff because today's Monday and we still haven't received it yet, but it should be literally any day now. They keep telling us it's going to be any day now, and we have the product ready to ship. So if you're a local game store in the States, or if you're a person who plays at a local game store in the States and you've been wanting to get more product and you're just waiting for them to be able to restock, just continue asking your local game store to poke Southern Hobby and be like, hey, how fast can we get some product in? Because on our end, it is all ready to ship and we can get product to you pretty quick. So that's just the word we want to get out, is let people know that you got to just keep getting your local game store to ask them to light a fire under them to get some product in stock.
Could be a time zone issue, Jason. They are in Tennessee, I believe, right? So they're like an hour difference. So that could be the issue between the Friday to Monday thing.
I guess so. It's Monday night and we haven't received the order yet. So I'm just keeping people up to date.
Yep. Of course. Yes. No, of course. And speaking of Southern Hobby, Metamorphosis is available for pre-order on their website, I believe.
That's right. Both websites, Universal in Canada and Southern Hobby.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, that's awesome. That's really, really good. And hopping across the pond, somewhere that I think Jan is familiar with, they should be getting their products soon too, I believe, right? For the EU.
Yes, the product was shipped over a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now. So I don't know how long it'll take. I'm guessing 4 to 5 weeks is probably getting close to the halfway mark. But I'm still new at international overseas container shipping. I don't really know exactly how long that process will take. But it's definitely on its way and it's making good progress. So that's exciting. And then, as I mentioned during last week's stream, the exciting thing for the European Union countries is when Metamorphosis releases this summer, we're already established and set up with Yoda's Data out of Germany, which means they'll be able to place an order at the same time as everybody else. And all the countries in the European Union to go along with North America will be able to get their product on the same release day. So that's pretty exciting. We're happy to have them part and parcel the same time and date that everybody else will be playing. And I'm done. Somebody else talk.
You're done. Someone else talk. So Jan has been part of our rules team, to jump back into that for a while now. He's been working hard on Metamorphosis, finalizing that. And I believe we were just talking before the stream that he's going to be jumping into Cataclysm very soon, if not already, to get some of that work done. So you're not allowed to ask questions about Cataclysm or about stuff that hasn't been released from Metamorphosis. But anything that has been released, and like in our spoiler from last week, or anything from Invasion, is free reign. Jan can freely speak about any of those things. If there's any questions about it, I do know that our rules seem to be so perfectly succinct that apparently no one has any questions. But I think Jason had some questions from his local store. So if you want to shoot one of those out, maybe Jan can speak up and give us an answer to one of those.
An interesting question came up about a card interaction just this past Saturday when we had a great crowd in the store playing Genesis again, and it revolved around a card. It's the one that blocks line of sight. It's like it comes out with Chain Carver. What's that called? That big white monument that blocks line of sight.
Oh yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
the one you're talking about. Yeah, it discards a card for any champion, I think, adjacent to it or
Yeah,
around it.
that's right. That's the card. I don't know why the name's escaping me at the moment. But the question was because I guess at some point during the olden days of the rules, maybe in a previous version of the rules, I guess the vibe that people had, or maybe it's actually how it worked, was certain things where it said played meant literally just you're playing it from your hand. It's something physically printed on a card you're playing out of your hand. And then I guess nowadays the rules, the interpretation of the word played is maybe a little more vague in so much as maybe it applies to everything. Abilities printed on cards that are already in play, things you're playing from your hand, specifically in regards to that card, because if it says something like, if a champion plays an ability, they have to discard a card. The question was, well, does that mean like if I attack with my champion, because that's just played on, that's just a normal attack? Is that an ability that's being played? What if my champion summons a creature onto the board? Is that something like an ability being played that would cause a discard? There were those kind of questions on what all gets caught by that word played when you don't want to really discard a card if you don't have to. So maybe you could just dive into everything that card would affect. That if I do this, do I discard? If I do that, do I discard? That'd be great to explain to the viewers at home, please.
No problem. So in Genesis, every ability is played. So regardless of if it's a spell that comes from your hand or if it's the ability played by a creature, like the process of actually adding ability to the stack is playing that ability onto the stack. So it is an all-encompassing term for Genesis, and so every single ability follows the playability rule set for that. Which actually makes it very different because I know obviously when it comes to Magic, the Gathering, that they also use the term played, but that isn't necessarily true for every ability that they have. So a good example of that would be if we had a Hungry Hound get attacked by a Behemoth, if we can kill the Behemoth before the Hound is obviously takes the damage resolves, then the Hound takes no damage. In Magic, they have something called a played ability, which not play sorry, they have something called an activated ability, which gets added to the stack like normal. But unlike Genesis, if that source of that ability is killed, the ability still carries on and still goes off. Obviously, for Genesis, we have a two-check system where the target and the source has to be valid when the spell is played, as well as when the spell resolves. For Magic, what they only have to, when it comes to activated abilities, they only have to make sure that it's there when the card is played, but when the ability is put onto the stack, but not when the ability resolves. So that's kind of like the big difference. And I know obviously we are differentiating ourselves from that, but I think that when the game was designed, I think it was very much easier to make sure everything was played, and so that whole process was a lot easier for people to understand.
Very nice. And then basically the only thing that wouldn't be covered by Ruined Sculpture, thank you, Janice, for looking up the card. Basically, the only things that don't get affected by that and cause a champion to discard would be, to my knowledge, examples of triggers, for example, because you're not actually playing a trigger. The trigger is something that's almost creating itself because something else has happened in the game. You're not playing a trigger. So that's my basic rudimentary understanding of why they don't get affected, is it's not the champion playing it. Is that basically right?
Yeah, that is correct. Yes.
Perfect.
Also, any obviously continuous ability would interrupt that as well. I mean, so yeah, intermediate ability would interrupt that as well. So
Okay.
And passive abilities, Shahan just mentioned too, which I think Jan just
Mhm.
covered off there. Yeah.
Well, what's a passive ability? Like, what's an example of one? Can anyone think of one? Just
Like
so
a
we don't.
continuous
so anything that's a modify would be a passive ability.
modifier.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Well, I'm glad that we got that cleared up for some of our local players and some of the players from afar who might have been wondering just how powerful Rune Sculpture is. Turns out it's pretty powerful. You can do some good stuff with it.
Well, in all fairness, line of sight is a very powerful mechanic as well, right? So,
Yeah.
for such a powerful mechanic, you need a very powerful counter mechanic for it, which is why something like that would obviously be in place.
Yeah, very valid.
Some things popped up. I wonder if there's some questions here. Just trying to tune in. Might have to watch it. Okay, that's
Yeah.
Shockwave's going to check us out later. Shahan agrees with you, Jan. So you guys don't have to argue and duke it out later in the Discord. And Jeremy has joined us. I didn't see Jeremy's name before, so he says, "Cool, thanks." So I'm going to add Jeremy to the list as well now. I'm assuming Jeremy was one of the people that had a question about it, and possibly Marcus, because they both chimed in about how powerful it is. And thank you for the clarification. So I don't know if there were two people that had the question up there or not, but
they were
either
both
way, now you have the answer.
they were both playing that night, and they were both involved in the discussion. It kind of turned into a group discussion, and
Oh,
then
I thought you were
somebody-
going a different direction when you said turn into a group discussion. I thought you were going to say it turned into a fist fight or something like that. Group discussion. That's better. Okay, I was
No.
worried there for a
Yeah.
second.
It was
Never
funny.
come to
You didn't
that.
have to call the.
Oh, sorry, go ahead,
I say you
please.
didn't have to call the police this time.
No,
not this time.
no. It was funny because the question got asked to me, and I went, as I always do, even when I used to be a Magic judge, I would give my gut feeling of what the rule would be first, and then I double checked second. And when I double checked second, I went to our private rules discussion Discord, where all the people who have all the power, including Jan here in the middle, where they like to hang out, and you can get like the absolute answer. Because benefit of working for the company is you can ask the staff some questions sometimes. And then I relayed the answer, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, but was it a real judge who's asked that?" And I was like, "Hey, man, I'm the president of the company. I'm not going to ask a random guy from like Alaska what the rules question is. I'm going to ask someone who knows, who's involved with it." So yeah, we got it all sorted out, and I'm very glad to get it once again confirmed. So because I thought, oh, this is a good question, and people at other stores have probably wondered too of just how great this card could be and if they're understanding it right. So yeah,
Yeah.
feels good to get the right answer out and let people know.
And with as strong as this card is, there are many ways you can obviously negate it. Like any sort of movement spell with response will allow you to get out of its awareness. You could kill the chain carver who's going to summon it in response, and then obviously the effect will fizzle, or you can even negate it on the stack. So there's various ways of being able to like stop it.
So should be for any threat in the game. There's always ways to work around it. It's the fun of the building your deck is deciding what threats you want to put in and what answers you want to put in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, let me see here. What else is in the chat here from Shockwave? Any way to determine if stores are having events anywhere and if the game is growing at all? Any marketing plans? Ooh, this is a long one. This is not just one question. It's like a paragraph. Any marketing plans or plans to do some aggressive campaigns to grow the player base? Yeah. So, any way to determine if stores are having events anywhere? Well, pretty soon, I'm hoping that we'll be able to add an event locator, but that's more like when we get our tournament software completed. I don't think we're going to put a temporary workaround. So the short answer is for the next few months, probably not an easy way to find out on just by searching with Google. It'll be a question of communicating with people in like the Facebook groups and things like that. In our official Genesis discussion group, for example, there's not very many posts being put up by people at their local game stores for when they're doing their play nights. And I would encourage people to take advantage of social media places like the Facebook group. Tell everybody what your local game store is doing, what night of the week they get together. Because even though you're talking to people who play Genesis all around the world, there's also a good chance there's going to be some random people who maybe live close to you that you might not even know are in the group that might see those posts and want to come and check out your store. So I would definitely encourage people to spread the word about what nights of the week your local game stores play Genesis. Like, for example, up here in Midland, we do it 2 nights a week because we're really having a great time with it. Every Wednesday and every Saturday from 5 p.m. till the store closes, we play it up here in Midland. I have some exciting news to share that the owner of Jackson, Queen and Elville reached out to me today. He wants to get some learn to play events set up in the next month or so because they'd like to start doing more scheduled official kind of events themselves as well. So that's good. Another store is going to start doing weekly events real soon. And yeah, it's the kind of information we'd love to help you share. So if anybody out there is playing and having a great time at a certain time, let us know and we'll help spam that everywhere to let people who are interested know when they can get out in your neck of the woods and play some Genesis.
You can also just peruse the store locator, find your local store, give them a call. If they're carrying Genesis, probably someone there running events or
Yeah.
a regular, if not an official like an official event, they might just be having a learn to play night or just a night that they all hang out there and start playing Genesis, kitchen table style at the store. So just reach out to them and they can probably put you in touch with the people there that are playing, if it's not the store owners themselves, and get the ball rolling that way. And then once you do have that, by all means, pass it on to the social media stuff. Get the store to get in touch with us at hello@edgeofexile.com, and we'll get that information out there for more people to join in.
And while
Absolutely.
that happens, obviously online, the Tavern Brawlers are still doing their online things. I know I joined up for the one for February, so I'm looking forward to
very
playing some
exciting.
competitive games.
Nice.
If you do happen to be paired up against Jan, make sure you ask for a judge's call as frequently as possible. Jan loves when he gets challenged.
In fact, just bring Shahan in, it'd be fun.
Yeah,
great.
Shahan will come in and judge. All kidding aside, yeah, no, don't join the Tavern join the Tavern Brawlers if you're unable to get to an LGS. They run great events on a monthly basis, and it's very easy to partake in, and it's very informal, casual. What would you call it, Jan? I guess either. Yeah,
I wouldn't know. This is the first time I've joined in, so.
Yeah. Oh wow, very cool.
I think, yeah.
It's people that just love to play, and they'll play by any means necessary. So they're there to have fun and have a good time, which is really what you want. That's what you want in your LGS. And if you don't have an LGS, do it that way until you can build up the team at your LGS and play that way.
I do know regarding Tavern Brawlers that Joe from Imperial Pools has played in a couple of their events, and he said he really enjoyed it because it was very easy and flexible to get your weekly game in. You have almost a full week to set up a match with somebody, and he enjoyed having some chat and whatnot with players after the game. So yeah, he recommended it for sure. So it's a good time.
Yeah, I've played in the tournament once, pre Edge of Exile days, and it was great. It was a lot of fun. The people I played against it was wonderful. I had a blast with them. So
yeah, what'd you do? Like win the whole thing? Go undefeated? Go on a killing streak? What happened? 3 drop? I don't know.
Let's completely reverse that, and that's actually no. You know what? I think technically I had a win because someone else had to drop. We couldn't coordinate one week, so I got the win that week. But if memory serves, I posted it as a draw. I told Lee there or whoever was running it at the time, it might have been Joe. I said just put it as a draw because they couldn't make it. I felt bad because it was just fun. It was fun to do, so I didn't want that person to get a loss just because their family life got busy. It's not right.
So Jeff, how are things going?
Way.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead, Jan.
Sorry, I just said so. Winning the honourable way sounds good.
Yeah.
So Jeff, I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you how are things going with the artists and the artwork for Metamorphosis.
So a little bit of inside baseball. I was doing a bit of templating today, and this is going to sound like patting ourselves on the back or whatnot, right? But in all fairness, it was the artists did their magic work. The card designs were a team effort. Just putting some of these pieces together, I was looking at them on the screen, and I just, laugh if you want. I literally just went, wow, that looks good. Like it just like I mean, they all look beautiful, but there were a couple pieces that just really caught me when I went, wow, like that looks really, really good. Actually, one of them, I believe, is in your spoiler today. One of the ones that I kind of sat back and went,
oh, nice.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, that's just, wow. So like I'm actually itching to get to that, but I want to give people a chance to talk to Jan if they want to. I don't want to, make this just a reveal video sort of thing. I want to make sure that he gets I was going to say people take advantage of him, but that's the wrong way to put it. People take advantage of Jan being here. That's what I was trying to say.
Sure.
People take advantage of Jan being here is what I meant to say.
That's just a special privilege for you. Not everybody gets to be allowed to do that, okay?
Unless you guys want to show the video now so people can start thinking about things, because they might also have some questions based on the video and the card that gets revealed to ask Jan.
Or also on a different note, they also might have questions about the lore, perhaps, because this video, I'm going to warn you, Jeff, because you haven't had a chance to see it yet. I'm really proud of it. I think it turned out really good. It's about a 5-minute video because basically I'm going to narrate a whole chapter of lore introducing this character who may or may not feel a little familiar. You're going to have to watch the video a little closely to see some clues early on. Or some people who have an eye for artwork the way you do, Jeff, will probably realize right away what's going on. But I think it's going to be a really fun video. If everybody's up for it, well, we could go ahead and run it now. Is that what the plan is?
I think let's go ahead and run it now. This way people can formulate if they have any questions. Me and Jan can see it for the first time. It'll be great.
Yep.
I won't be able to hear it though, because if I hear it, then it echoes. So I'm gonna have to mute.
Right.
So that
Yeah,
I don't hear it.
that is the disappointing part for sure. I will. I'll mute my mic. If you guys can mute yours as well, we'll watch the video, and I'll see you back here in just about 5 minutes, and we can talk about everything that we just learned. Sound good? All right.
Yep. Shortly.
Here we go. The world is in metamorphosis, and this is the story of the fisherman and the flames. Life continues on as normal for most people in the realm of Jalara, whether you live in a small village or perhaps a huge city of commerce. But not for one special fisherman in the fishing village of Brighton. For this special fisherman would have a day that would change his life forever. Huh. How strange. There's a woman with a young baby, and she's doing their laundry just up the stream. But a moment ago, our local fisherman had been, well, he had thought he had been alone. Oh no. It appears that the baby's joyful noises have attracted the attention of some nearby bandits from the woods. One bandit had already managed to sneak up and grab the mother and thrown her to the ground, and the other bandit was quickly making his way to the water's edge where the baby lay defenseless. Our hero had only a moment and chose to act. Our hero's aim was true, and the bandit would be dead before his body touched the ground, struck through the chest by an expertly thrown fishing spear. But now our hero had another problem. The first bandit, having seen what had just happened to his comrade, abandoned his attack on the mother and instead turned his attention to our hero. Pulling a knife that had been hidden within his robes, the bandit moved closer and began swinging and stabbing at our hero. With no spear left to defend himself, our hero fought valiantly, which soon began to fade as he could feel a liquid running down his chest. His thoughts started to become harder to gather as he fell to the ground. And finally, before darkness came, he had to ask himself a question. Why, instead of a bright light, did he now feel a burning fire raging around him? Surely he had lived a better life than that. But our hero did not need to worry, because that was not the fire of an afterlife coming to claim him. Instead, it was a fire of vengeance being bestowed upon him by an angel. An angel of revenge. And our hero would get his revenge without lifting a finger. Eventually, our hero awoke again. The bandits were gone. The mother and the baby were gone as well. The only sign that anything had even happened was the terrible fire that had burned the ground all around where our hero lay. What had become of the bandits? Well, their bodies at least. He had no idea. What had become of the mother and the child? He also had no idea. But our hero did know one thing for certain. He had been spared. And he knew that he had a purpose. because now our hero was no longer just a simple fisherman. He had been spared by an angel of revenge, and now he would be a champion of that same angel. A champion of revenge. A champion for justice. And a champion of the flames.
Kept yourself muted, Jason.
Okay, long story short, what do you think, Jeff?
Without hearing any of the story part, I loved it. And it got some great chat going, actually, that I wanted to jump into kind of in reverse order, because Damien's second question there was it's a trigger and not an immediate effect. And I think Jan can speak to that right away and clear that up for Damien before we go to his previous question, if he wants to clear that up right away.
So the symbol that you saw right in front of the trigger, the eye, is now the new indication of immediate. So, which is interesting because that's also on the previous reveal and nobody spoke about it. But yeah, that intermediate now we're gonna hope. I think the designers plan to use that more of like a speed than as kind of a part of the as just like a part of the ability. So yeah, that's the new symbol for immediate.
You'll see this a wide letter I in front of triggers and things like that, where immediate is I was going to say being triggered, but it's the trigger that it's doing. It's an immediate trigger versus just a regular trigger. And of course, as time goes on, if you have any other questions about rules specifically around that, that's what Jan and Shahan are for. There we are. We put it up there. You'll see the I trigger, right? So that's your immediate trigger. Which, Jan, do you want to clarify what an immediate trigger is versus a non-immediate trigger?
Yeah, so an immediate trigger is a trigger that goes off, it goes into the stack, and it cannot be reacted to. So any ability that's followed, like has immediate that follows it, will happen, and there'll be no way to interact with it currently.
Now, if it is added to a stack, once it resolves, you can then start rebuilding the stack after that point, correct?
Correct, yeah. So the stack cannot be interacted with.
At that point, okay.
Mm.
We've got some some cools. That's nice, and I've added a few more names because of this to our magic wheel. Don't forget to comment if you want something in the magic wheel there. But what did you all think of that? That's Kayun of the Flames. That's our next champion reveal, which that was one of the ones that just blew me away when it was all templated like that. Jason and Jan, I just looked at it and went, "Wow, that looks really good." Throw it back up over my face, Jason. No one needs to see me. They want to see more Kayun if you can put that up there.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think people want to see more of that.
Also, the good thing about going to Thymos is that it gives them a bit more maneuverability. So you've got your diamond jukes you can use now, and again, like was said in chat, like he has a different set of tools that he can use, but it just means that it gives him so many more strategies now he can kind of implement, other than kind of say your standard Axon Bellum strategies. So it should be good.
I like seeing things branching out from that Axon pool. Seems like everything kind of defaults to that for a little while, right? It's nice to see it spread out and pull from other things.
Yeah, and it also shows that Edge of Exile was not afraid to change affiliations on characters, which is great.
Well, you might notice actually, Kayun of the Flames here. We've got a previous champion, obviously, that's been reborn, and we've got those subnames now on them. So we do have champions that have changed over time. They've grown up, they've adapted, they've been reborn. Each one has a little bit different of a reason why they are. And it's really exciting from the design standpoint. Really intriguing, I think, from the rules standpoint. Really gorgeous from the art standpoint, and I know Jason is just champing at the bit to keep doing on the story side of it to get that stuff developed on why they are where they are now. So it's kind of firing on all cylinders there. It's really exciting times for this stuff, the changes and the new stuff. Steven's asking if Old Coon is still valid in tournaments, and yes, yeah, no, there's no rotation, nothing like that yet. Everything is still valid in there. If anything isn't, it would obviously appear on the banned and restricted list on the website, but that's been updated a little while ago with the most recent changes to things, and it's just, I believe nothing's changed since then, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you won't have to worry about cards not being valid if a new version of a character comes out. Just like other card games, when it comes time to do a rotation, it'll be based on a set. Other than when we eventually someday down the line get to the point where sets can rotate out, if a card was going to get removed from legal play, we would make a big banned and restricted kind of announcement about it. We'd make sure everybody knew. And as Jeff mentioned, it would definitely be listed as well on the website. But we don't plan on removing an old card because we make a new version of a character. There's no need for that. Play with whichever version of your favorite characters you want.
Yeah. And I have a feeling some of these new ones, or this new one, I should say, would be probably one of the new favorites. I can't see why someone wouldn't want to go this route. I know I will. I used to play Coon all the time, and I think I'll be going Kayun of the Flames. I think that'll be my go-to, because that extra move, that dash, I can't live without it. I feel like I have to move that extra step. Not that it really gets me ahead anywhere, but I just need that extra step to move.
Well,
Yeah, in the first couple of years of playing competitive, kind of like getting off coup felt so hard, as you said, just that lack of movement and stuff. You just felt so sluggish.
Yep, that's exactly. I learned to play on that card, so I needed that extra movement, because I can't understand how you don't move that. Which that's something I got to wrap my head around. We had a question earlier up from Damien for Jan. He was wondering if Cutaneous can play other card affiliations in a draft or sealed pool with his beginning game effect, or not.
Okay, so I kind of did think about that, and I know that when we get towards competitive, I think the answer at that point will be that your Full Thoughts will only contain cards of the same affiliation that you built your deck with. But again, until that time, I think it's up to the organizer to make that decision. I think if you speak to the organizer beforehand and depending on how he feels, I think that would be a great way. But obviously, once competitive comes into play, a finalized decision will be made. So
that's actually that is the answer to it. Until there's a finalized official set for that, you do it with what your organizer would say, as most things are, right? It's the house rules, as it were, at that point until it's sanctioned. Shahan is theory crafting stuff in the chat with people here about how to run a yellow-red Kayun champion. And it looks like they're going to be probably dominating a bunch of stuff with that now.
when I was playtesting with it, with the rabbits released, the spirit guides that were released in Invasions, they actually get a lot out of his movement, just because he can place them down on the line, and they can then attack and then bounce with him and go halfway across the board just to be right next to him. So that's fun. That's nice fun movement interactions that you can do. So
well, it's the one dimension that other card games don't have, right? Is we have this board to move around on. So anything that can really take advantage of that and show how that develops things and changes ideas and all that is just wonderful. I think that's the feather in the cap of the design team and the rules team to make that work and gel and function properly, and the testing team. Sorry, I shouldn't downplay the testing team too. The people that are testing this for us. And it's really been done very well. I'm very excited to see. Oh man, I'm excited to see more spoilers, Jason. It's hard to do these on this pace, but we have to. It's the right way to reveal things.
Yeah, I'm really excited about some future cards that we're going to be spoiling. As you mentioned earlier, I'm also really excited about the story and where the story's going. I'm excited about some of the mechanics we haven't gotten to reveal yet. There's so much stuff that, yeah, you're really tempted to just blurt out everything all at once. But we also want to give every card and every mechanic its proper reveal, where we get to focus on them and give them the pomp and circumstance that they deserve. So, and I just can't do that many videos in a week to do them all, Jeff. You got to give me time.
Well, you know what? There's maybe a way to alleviate a bit of that pressure from you. And that's maybe if we open up spoiler season to
Mm.
content creators. If they want to get in touch with us at hello@edgeofexile.com, we will get back in touch with them and plan out a plan. Plan out a plan. Set up a schedule for revealing some spoilers, and we can get some people some imagery for spoilers that they can do videos of and set up on their own schedule for that. What do you think of that?
So you're saying that the content creators who are currently making all sorts of cool Genesis content, whether it be in the works that's doing their gameplay videos or Imperial Pulls that's doing their booster pack openings, or any other cool channels that have done things in the past with us, like for example, Madtown Hobbies or Cardboard Cohorts. You're saying all these
Yep.
really cool people that make this really cool content could send an email to hello@edgeofexile.com and maybe get a chance to reveal a really cool spoiler ahead of time?
Even Shockwave, who's in the chat right now, even him, because I know we missed him because he hasn't done something in a while. But Shockwave used to be very, very big in the Genesis community. So yes, anyone who's been doing these things, send us an email and we will get them a spoiler set up on some sort of a schedule. We'll work that out with them, what works to their presentation and our presentation of things, so we make sure things aren't overlapping too much. And we'll get some reveals going in the next short while, which I think will be really, really exciting.
I like that idea. Sounds good to me.
Excellent. Excellent. Should we put a, you know what, Janice, because you're handling a lot of the backroom stuff, drop in the chat what you'd like them to put in the subject line, because then it's easier for us to find and parse that.
Yeah.
So if there's something specific you want them to put it in that subject line, just drop it in the chat there if you're in the chat, and we will get that funneled through so they can make sure they put that in their subject line when they send an email through.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good
just
idea
I
because
just
we do
wouldn't
get a
give
lot
it.
of emails.
I just wouldn't give anything to the Clone War because I hear like one guy he did a stream and he couldn't even open a box in a single stream. I don't know who that was.
Yeah. That's like the kind of person that you want to send one single card to because they can do that one card all night long.
Well, I think the problem with them is that something showed up and made them change places so that they couldn't do it. Kind of a Chrono Walker effect or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's weird.
There we are. Metamorphosis spoiler request. So put that in your subject line and we'll be able to parse those emails and get back to you sooner rather than later. Damien's asking a question here. Let me see what that is. Genesis puzzle that needs to be solved multiple times to unlock a spoiler card. That sounds like what who's doing that now? One of the other companies is doing that, I think, with like a whole how to figure things out. Like you have to do like a little puzzle to get reveals of things, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Shahan wants to be stricter on who we let open boxes. For those of you that don't know, the joke Jan was making with Shahan and his the Chrono Walkers there tried opening a box of Invasion, and I think it took them I don't know how many episodes to finally get through the box because every pack they opened, they were in depth, in detail, talking about each and every card, going off on tangents, all kinds of anecdotes. It's actually great fun if you have time, even if you don't have to watch it, make the time. It's worth it. Go watch it. It's a blast and a lot of fun to watch people that are that involved in it talk about it and the passion they have. It's great. And I actually look forward to them doing it with Metamorphosis as well when that time comes. I'd love to see another 3-4 hour set of videos trying to open a box and see where we go.
Yeah, I joke that like Shahan's depth of knowledge and you know his knowledge and just his expertise in the game is almost second to none. I can't think of anybody who has such a great depth of knowledge as Shahan's there.
Yeah, Shahan's got basically the game running. You know how they do that thing where they say that chess players can visualize the whole board in their head? That's what I imagine Shahan's doing. It's like that that meme with the woman and all the stuff, but not confused, actually just concentrating and knowing what's going on. That's what I picture Shahan doing on a daily basis when he sits down in front of a Genesis board, which is why I never play against him because I figure I'll just lose. There we go. We gave him a swollen ego now. He's in the chat, so he won't be able to leave home for a while.
Marcus, I think, raised a question saying, will we see more red fire cards then? So, as he's thinking, is there going to be more fire support for Kayun? I think he's asking.
I see. You're going to have to wait and see, Marcus. You're going to have to wait and see what comes out in the spoilers. I don't want to reveal anything ahead of time. But don't forget that each set is not an island unto its own. So each set can build on previous sets or plan for future sets too. So don't think that everything is just happening in one set and then it's locked down and the next set is totally irrelevant to it or whatever. These thoughts are longer term planning sometimes, but you'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions from the chat? Anybody want any questions? Got any rules questions they want to ask the expert, or anything you want to talk about in general? We've got a few more minutes that we can spend here before we call it a night, and I just want to make sure everybody gets all their questions answered that they'd like.
Well, they're thinking of questions. I've got one for Jan, and it's about last week's spoiler about the transforming. How do things transform? How does that work? What happens rules wise or physical wise to make that transformation happen? Why don't we have health on the back of it? Little things like that. Can you explain stuff like that to me? And to the
Yeah, that's no problem. So when a combatant transforms, they do not leave the field. What happens is that the card flips, and and what will happen is then it takes on the health of whatever is on the back. If there is no health on the back, then it means that it just inherits the health and any chi abilities that it would have on the flip. So it doesn't leave play. It still stays on the field, so it won't trigger any enter the battlefield effects for any sort of future cards if when a card transforms. So, but it is, as you saw, an immediate trigger, so you can't react to that one. So.
I have a question about that card specifically. I think everybody's assuming they know the answer to this question, but just to get it official, just to ask the rules expert, what happens if you're at 9 life and then somebody, I don't know, sacrifices a bunch of creatures with that spell that lets you do as much damage as you sack creatures, and all of a sudden you're getting hit for 10 damage? Well, technically, you probably can't even transform because I'm pretty sure you're dead, but I just want to get the official answer from you on how that would work.
Yeah, that's correct. So because in that case, you don't hit the 8 or less threshold, and so the card is removed and you win the game.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we officially knew that, because it had been a question that had been asked, and it sounds like it makes sense, but you can never just take things for granted. You want to make sure you know for sure. So that's great to know.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's a very
good Damien, by the way. Yeah, by the way, no, Sid Williams is fine. Nobody killed him. Just to respond to that question.
No Sid Williams
he did
were
ask
harmed
that
in the
earlier.
making of this video.
Yeah. Well, his ego might have been, right? We're talking about Kayun replacing Kuhn sort of thing. So maybe his ego was, but I'm sure Sid Williams will be grabbing Kayun and starting to build some decks around that with what's been revealed so far and what Invasions has, and we're all going to have to watch out because former champions, they pretty much know what they're doing.
Well, he has his own champion to play with now, so.
Oh, that's true. It's not a very good one. No, I'm kidding. It's great. It really is. So yeah, I don't see any more questions coming in, Jason, and we are pushing up against 8 o'clock.
All right.
Unless Jan has something he wants to say, or any. Wait, I do have one more question for Marcus.
Has just come in.
Can you elaborate on how it's like Columbo? He's turned around and said, "Just one more." I do have one more. Can you elaborate on how alteration block line of sight? Also, the awareness of non-line attackers. Also, I had situation with Joe where Tashir was hitting a summon, besides Ruined Sculpture.
Okay, so when it comes to line of sight, line of sight blocks anything or any awareness or any target that's in between the source and where the ability is. if the target is actually on anything that's that has that blocks line of sight, then you can see that target. It's only if the alteration or anything that blocks line of sight is between you and that target. So obviously that only matters for spells that or abilities that target things in your awareness. If you hit them with anything like a tsunami, then it would obviously go straight past and it would do the damage. But anything that does require you to have any sort of line of sight or that allows you that actually needs you to target them, obviously you won't be able to do it if the alteration is between you as the source and the opponent as a target.
So like as a visual thing, it's you're standing on top of the mountain, so they can see you. If you're standing behind the mountain, they can't see you. That's how my brain
Correct.
functions to do it, right? If that makes sense.
I have a follow-up question
Yeah.
then. My follow-up question to that question is then you're playing as Tashir. Tashir, as which was mentioned in Marcus's thing. Tashir, as you might recall,
Yeah.
has the unique awareness of being 2 rows away. So you're playing as Tashir. Directly in front of Tashir is a rune sculpture, and then behind that is a creature that you'd like to target. Line of sight and normal awareness. These are 2 different things, and Tashir would be able to see that row behind with his normal awareness like usual, or line of sight and awareness are similar, and Tashir literally can't see through the rune sculpture. How does that work out?
So I believe that he would be able to see him because it's not blocking your awareness. The awareness isn't being blocked by it at all.
Right.
So I believe that Tashir would be able to hit that target because you're not targeting a spot that's outside of its awareness, I believe. But again, would have to double check on that. I'm not going to 100% say that is correct. I will look into that and we'll talk and we'll get back to you in regards to that. So
Nice. Stump the rules guy. That's good. This is the conversations we want to have. Figuring things out. Fun little
I like
corner cases and things like that. My gut instinct, I'll always give you my gut reaction first, and then I'll also look it up later. My gut reaction is I'm pretty sure Tashir should probably be able to see it because just like any other time, it doesn't ever matter what's right in front of Tashir. Somehow that person has, I don't know, satellites in outer space or something that he's reflecting his view with to see behind. My gut feeling is that it would be able to hit anything that's normal awareness, and it's only line of sight attacks that would be blocked that way. That's my gut feeling. But we'll take it up with the whole rules team, including Shahanigan, and we'll figure that out in the future.
Yeah, that's something that we can talk about for sure. I'm on Jason's wavelength there. I believe that's how it would work, which I believe is what Jan was alluding to.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of Shahan can convince us otherwise, which I don't think he will, but we'll leave that up to him. I'm gonna if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna read through the names to make sure I didn't miss anyone that commented. I think I've got everyone. Again, this is for the magic wheel. We spin it. If your name gets drawn, you get a pack of invasion sent your way. Just comment in the chat to have that happen. We have Damien, Cardboard Cohorts, Nomvi, Edward T, Marcus P, David C, Shahan, Stephen P, Jeremy H, Cardboard Fab, and Timmy T. If you did not hear your name, you got a couple minutes to drop a comment. And let's see what comments we just missed from some other people there. Marcus said, thank you. Edward said, can be targeted by some cards. It can be targeted while on a tree. Oh, they're talking to each other there. Okay, never mind. Damien and Edward are talking back and forth. Question. Not me, please. Well, if you win it, Shahan, you can. We can re-roll it. Sorry, go ahead, Jan.
The reason, obviously, why area effect does work is because it says it does damage to everything in that spot, and obviously that doesn't have target within the name of the thing, so obviously it's not negating any sort of targeting.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. It's nice, those 2 different types of damage that can be caused, which is great. Okay, I'm gonna start setting up the wheel here, Jason, which means I gotta move a few things around on my side.
Sounds
so
good.
Turn the camera to face it, and I think we might be able to not have you have to move a bunch of stuff around if I just turn my camera. But let me see. So I'm right there. So if I grab my camera and you see nothing until I turn it, if I do this, oh come on, please go that far over.
Almost.
Oh, there we are. There we are. I think I got.
Yeah, that's good.
The name.
Yeah, that's good.
I got the name. Okay.
Yeah.
I won't touch anything then.
Yeah.
All right.
You're
I
good.
can't see anything else. So as long as no one else has commented, I'm going to spin the magic wheel here. I'm going to shuffle it up.
Yeah, you're good. Let's give away a free booster pack. Woo!
Spin the wheel.
Yo, Jeffrey, spin that wheel.
Oh, it almost landed on
Oh.
Sean. It's David C.
David
Thomas.
Clayton. Nice.
All
Well,
right, let's
he's
get this
local to
camera
me,
back.
so next time he stops in to visit me at work, I'll make sure I hook him up with a free booster pack of Genesis Battle of the Champions.
Yes, for sure. And but David, you have to stop by on a Genesis night so you actually play Genesis. If not, it doesn't count. That's going to be my stipulation. It's not really a stipulation. You can stop by and see Jason anytime. Buy some ice cream, buy some pop, and pick up a pack of cards.
It'll be a while till he can buy ice cream. We don't have the ice cream machine running right now in February, so.
Oh, it's February. I'm sorry, I forgot. You know what? With the temperature outside, I forgot what month it is. Because honestly, I've been going out in like a sweater. It's crazy warm out there. It's crazy mild for this time of year.
Yeah.
Really didn't expect that. But yes, no ice cream. Go buy and grab a pop and some donuts or something.
There you go. That's better.
David Clayton said we're awesome, and he said he will buy something from you, so that's great.
Yeah.
No ice cream till April.
Yeah, he knows. Whoa.
Yep.
Something just happened with the cameras here. Did we just lose Jan?
That or he's standing very, very still. Nope,
Jan.
he's gone. Let's see.
Is he gone?
He can come back though. He can just call us back.
Here, I happen to have a 2-camera feed just waiting here. There we go, Jeff. I got you back on. You've grown a few inches. You're a little taller than I remember, but I got you here.
I was going to say, you expected something to go wrong at some point, right? So we had it planned for a 2-call one. Yeah, Jan seems to have lost his internet connection. Someone didn't pay the water bill. Yeah. I don't know. But we were winding up anyways. It is 8:00, and I think we were going to start closing up unless you had any final words, Jason. This time I'm going to throw it to you. Do you have anything final?
No, I'm good. I've had a good time. If he was still here, I would thank Jan for joining us tonight. It was very cool to have another rules expert in the chat to answer people's questions and to irritate with our mildly annoying sense of humor. It's been fun. I hope everybody enjoyed the spoiler and the reveal. I'll be getting that video up on its own on our YouTube channel tomorrow, so that if you want to rewatch that, you'll be able to check it out and rehear the lore and see the card and all that fun stuff. And then once again, we'll be back here next week with some fun stuff. Jeff, do you think we can go 3 for 3 and do another spoiler next week, or what's the plan?
100% we could do a spoiler next week.
There you go. Come back again next week and you'll get to see some more spoilers for Metamorphosis, which is coming out in stores this summer, available for pre-order now at Southern Hobby Distribution in the States, Universal Distribution in Canada. And if your local store does not have any Genesis products in stock, please just let them know that they just got to call the distributors and place an order, because we have product ready. And in Canada, it's actually in stock and ready to ship. It's on its way to Europe. So all you European fellows, you're not going to miss out either. Everybody's going to get to join in the fun.
Yep. Can't wait.
All right. I think that's about it for tonight.
Excellent.
Last words, Jeff?
Thank you all for joining us, and can't wait for next week already.
Sounds good to me. Take care. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time that we're here beyond the Edge of Exile.